Your prediction success probability is nearing 100%. The quality of work supporting your analysis is excellent, and you are not sure whether adding the disclaimer "I am not a financial advisor" is needed. In fact, you are wondering whether adding the disclaimer will not affect your credibility. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, we will address this topic. Beyond the legal requirement for potential candidate to pass essential examination and obtain one or more licenses in line with the product or service offered. For those of you not familiar with my work, welcome to The Analyst.
I'm that motherfucker's haters trying to be like me. Oh, I understand, you know, I'm the real.
There are two groups of individuals making investment recommendation or asset price prediction online. On the one hand, we have those with the good intention. They will conduct excellent analysis on various asset class and share their work with those not possessing the capability to critically analyze publicly available information. On the other hand, we have crooked analysts. This group will hype asset they already own with the intention to dump it to those who will be unlucky to follow their recommendation. For this exercise, we will obviously focus on those with the good intention, working hard to share the result of their work with those not possessing that capability.
Make you cry, King Kong, reptile, my skin.
It is important to understand that an act full of good intent can still produce negative result. An investment recommendation with 100% success probability delivered to the mass can still produce negative result, and that for many reasons. The first is the failure to consider the heterogeneous nature of the investor universe. Investors are different. They are different in age. An investor of 20 years of age is different to an investor of 40 years of age from an asset allocation standpoint. When the investor is 20 years of age, most of the total wealth is in form of human capital. Less financial capital has been accumulated because generally the investor is not working and is probably studying to build his or her human capital. Whereas when the investor is 40 years of age, the human capital proportion of the total wealth has significantly decreased in importance, and some financial capital has already been accumulated. Investors are different in the objectives. Some invest to fund the purchase of their future house, while some invest to fund their future retirements. Investors are different in their risk tolerance, taking into consideration not only the capacity to take the risk, but also the willingness to accept the risk. Investors are different in their investment horizon. They are different in how the law and regulation applies to them, and on many other aspects. It is only after taking all these elements into consideration that we can begin to decide whether or not an asset is good for an investor. Now, the second failure is the failure to undertake the suitability test. What is the suitability test? The suitability test ensures that the recommendation is suitable to the investor. For instance, an investment recommendation with 100% success probability to buy a stock will still fail an investor. Let's take a very simple example. An investor who decide to buy a stock following an analyst's recommendation and who is forced to sell the stock 1 or 2 years later following an unanticipated cash event. Here we assume that the price of the asset decreased in value within that same horizon, is going to lose money even if the asset price move in line with the analyst's prediction 4 years from that event. So it is very important to consider whether the asset is suitable to the investor before making the recommendation. And finally, it is important to understand that an investment recommendation on its own is not enough to justify inclusion in the portfolio. It is the wealth planner job to decide whether the inclusion of an asset is going to play a role in achieving the investor objective. So in summary, what should we say? We can say that it is only after taking into consideration the situational profile and the psychological profile of an investor that an investment recommendation can be made, which is the job of the wealth planner or the financial advisor. So, as content creator, how can we ensure that our hard work deliver an efficient result to the investor, to our potential audience? I will give 2 things that we need to do. First is to let the investor know that despite the hard work behind our recommendation, despite our success probability, we are not financial advisor. They need to know that we are not financial advisor and that the financial advisor is the only one in the position to decide whether or not the recommendation is good for the investor. The second thing to do is to associate an investment horizon to our recommendation. Give enough information to those who might not have the resources to hire a financial advisor to understand that here is an investment recommendation with, let's say, 100% success probability, but with an horizon of, let's say, 4 years. Using that, the investor knows that to realize the potential profit out of the recommendation, 4 years is needed. So this was what I wanted to say. For the disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, and I think it is important to say it myself. I am not a financial advisor. This channel will be used to share enough information for you to make your own decision. If you like what I just did, please do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.